Hey guys, welcome back to Only Mods and welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys why I haven't posted anything on this beautiful Polo in the last few months. As you can see, she looks better than ever. Always looks good. But yeah, I still need to put a front splitter, some side skirts and a little winglet down here on the bumper. And I also need to bring those rims out. But yeah, the reason I haven't posted a video on the Polo yet is because I've been busy rebuilding this bad boy. So this TJ, I've rebuilt the engine. It's been a massive learning curve. I also repainted the car. As you can see, it's not the best job ever, but it was a big learning experience. Cost a lot of money, a big money pit. But overall, yeah, I've filmed most of it, so that's what this video is going to be about. I'm probably going to do this in 2 or 3 parts because there's just so much footage I have to edit. But yeah, in the meantime, in this video, we're going to go over how I rebuilt the engine and starting it up. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so getting straight into the rebuild video. Whilst I'm rebuilding the engine on screen, I'll give you guys a little bit of a backstory of where I got these Jeeps from, why I'm rebuilding this Inline 6, and also if you guys like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, because I'm trying to grow this channel into double the size it is now. We're currently at almost 2.2 thousand subs, which is insane. I'm super grateful for all my subscribers, but yeah, I'd love to grow this channel into millions of subscribers in a couple of years, and then yeah, hopefully do this as a full-time gig. Also working on some supercars and obviously giving you guys pretty good car content along the way. So if you'd like to be part of the journey, please like, comment and subscribe. So the reason I'm rebuilding this TJ engine is because right before Christmas, my wife found a Jeep TJ for sale on Facebook Marketplace, but the catch was it was purple and it had a lot of problems. So what we did was we hopped on the Polo, a small coastal town called Capel here in WA, and we went and checked it out. And to be honest, I fell in love. I didn't like the color that much, but it was a good little car, had a few problems, but thankfully nothing too serious. So I gave the guy cash and we took the car home. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the first part of the story. So back to the rebuild. If you guys didn't know, this is the first time I've ever rebuilt an engine, so it was a big learning curve. But what I did there beforehand was I just put new piston rings on the piston heads. So I actually had to get new piston heads. The reason I did that is because when I opened up this engine the first time to see if anything was wrong with it while I wasn't starting, I saw that this engine was damaged like pretty badly. So I've got a photo up here of what the piston head looked like and the cylinder. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty damaged. So we actually had to replace all the piston heads and rebore the cylinders. The reason we rebore the cylinders is because obviously if you put a new piston head on that damaged cylinder, it's just going to get mangled and get messed up again. So yeah, we ended up just replacing the whole lot. Better safe than sorry. So after that, obviously you can see here I'm compressing these piston rings with this little piston clamps. Very neat design. I really enjoy doing this. It's so satisfying. Yeah, so you just kind of tighten that clamp around all the piston rings. It compresses everything into one uniform size. Yeah, you can definitely see it's my first time rebuilding an engine because you should not touch those bearings that I'm placing between that con rod now with your fingertips, because the oil on your fingers are actually really bad for those bearings. But thankfully I just oiled it up, lubed everything up, because one of the most important things when rebuilding an engine that I've heard time and time again is to make sure there's enough oil everywhere where there's moving parts. So thankfully I did a good job with that. I put a lot of oil on all these bad boys, and here you can see me line up the cylinder with some oil as well, just to make it easier for that piston to slide in. I've also lubed up the cylinder rings, like the piston rings. Here you can see me just slide it in. Now all you need to do is you just need to put it nice and then you got to smack it out with a hammer. This is the first one I did. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but by the 3rd, 4th piston, bro, it was a breeze. It was so easy. It was just so satisfying doing this. You just kind of tap, 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 smack it in there, and then it just clicks in. It's so satisfying, and then boom, there you go. And then after this, you kind of push it down onto the crankshaft, and then you tighten the other end of that clamp around the crankshaft with a new bearing in that you should not touch with your fingers, but I did, unfortunately. But yeah, you just tighten the clamp at the bottom, which you'll see in a bit here, and you repeat everything for the remaining 5 cylinders. Now, whilst this is playing in the background, we'll get back to the story of the TJ. So after taking this purple TJ all the way back home, there was a few things that I needed to fix. Number 1 being the color. Number 2, I had to fix a few small things like the radiator and the fuel pump. Right after fixing those few things, I got straight into the paint shop and painted this Jeep a nice, beautiful sandstorm taupe color. as you can see here, about a week after repainting the TJ, I was actually on Facebook Marketplace looking for a new bull bar for the Jeep and came across this red TJ on Marketplace, and the guy actually wanted to get rid of it or swap it for a hardtop rooftop tent. I had a rooftop tent laying around and I was willing to swap it for this beauty. Go for it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just marking down every single bolt that I've torqued down with a blue marker. So the reason you do this is in the book that I got, they said if you replace a bolt or you're working on a bolt and tightening it down a second time, just to mark it down, so that if someone ever has to rebuild this engine again, they can see that this item or that the bolt that you're using has been reused twice. Because usually after you've reused the thing once, you got to throw it out and then obviously start with a new one. So that's why you mark them all down, so that the next person that opens up this engine knows someone's been in there already and that they've already torqued that down the second time. So it's actually time to replace that object or that bolt specifically. So here I'm just putting a new oil pump as well, and yeah, I think that's enough on the engine build. Let's get back to the story. So after the swap was complete, we moved the car all the way from Capel up to Mandurah. I know Capel is the town of Jeeps for some reason, I don't know why, but every guy and his dog has one. But yeah, so we moved the car up, and after comparing the two TJs side by side, the red one was in a lot better condition than our current taupe, previously purple TJ. So we ended up deciding to possibly just swap the engines around, so take the engine from the purple one and put it into the red one. But after looking at how much work that was going to be, I was like, you might as well just rebuild the engine. So we decided to rebuild the engine, and then it also gives you a peace of mind that this engine is brand new and that this car will last for another 20 to 30 years down the track if you maintain the engine properly. So that was the route we went, and now we're here rebuilding the engine. Alright guys, it's finally time to put on the head. So I've got the head here, completely new head. The valves are remanufactured or reconditioned, but the head itself is a brand new car, so everything's perfectly straight. Got everything done on the block. Now it's just time to make the two sections and get the engine going, getting it in the car. So let's get to it. So we're almost done rebuilding this engine. It's been a massive learning curve, but you're probably wondering what we're going to do with the other Jeep. So the purple Jeep, the originally purple Jeep that we painted a taupe color, we're just going to sell that car now because we don't need two Jeeps. We're perfectly happy with this grey one, looks really good, and now we know at least that the engine is in good condition, everything's rebuilt, and yeah, it should last us a good couple of years. So one thing I didn't end up filming was how I moved this engine down to my parents' property, which is where the Jeep's stored. I actually just popped in the back of the Polo, it fits, and then when I got there, my dad helped me pull it out. Then the hoist made light work of lifting up the engine from the ground. I pushed the chassis underneath the engine block. After that, I tackled the starter motor, 2 bolts, nice and simple, and then I went ahead and attached the engine mounts to the engine. Alright guys, so bad news, we've got the intake manifold. It's got a massive chip out of it. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason the car blew up, because it was this cylinder that was messed up, and that's the intake for it. So it's probably the cause of the engine blowing up. This chipped off, got sucked into the cylinder, messed up. But yeah, so I'm currently hunting a new one, or just a second-hand one from a wrecker. Yeah, so I don't think we're gonna get this car started tonight, but hopefully tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. So yeah, let's keep going. After picking up that second-hand part, I tackled the alternator and then headed straight to the stainless steel exhaust. So these extractors are stainless steel, got them from eBay, great deal. Really like how they look and they sound great. Here I'm installing the new second-hand air intake. After that, my father-in-law helped me lower the car onto the chassis, which was the first time these two pieces have met in a few weeks, which is awesome. And then we tackled the wiring, which was a headache and a half, but we got it done. Thankfully, my dad's done this a few times, and yeah, now it's time to start the engine. We spent all night trying to start that engine. It just did not want to start. After that backfire, we ended up just calling it a night. I went back and reviewed all the footage to see if I did something wrong somewhere, and I did. One very important step I missed, and this is what I did wrong. Alright guys, so I did a lot of research last night. I think I know what's wrong with the TJ. So one crucial part I missed is this distributor. I didn't place this distributor incorrectly, so I need to line that up first. And then before that, I need to get the top dead sensor of the front piston, put that back in in line with the engine and then should start. So let's get to it. After smashing that out, I quickly reinstalled the battery and gave it a second go. Oh, scary. We did it, guys, our first rebuilt engine, and it sounds great. But there was one slight problem. The crack that the repair shop fixed on the block was still leaking water. So I gave them a call. They said they'll take the engine back in and fix the crack. So that's what we'll do on the next video. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys on the next one.